name is Beth Hendry and I'll take you through this webinar today. So the learning outcomes for today. So at the end of this webinar, you should be familiar with the performance screen, should be able to run the employee performance reports, be familiar with the employee performance extended report, understand how to measure productivity, be able to look at client retention reports, and also understand how to measure rebookings. So we'll take you through each of these sections bit by bit. So the first thing that we're going to look at is your employees being able to manage their own performance. So it's all very well and good you being able to manage the performance yourselves with the reports, but our employees should be able to manage it themselves as well. So the performance screen is really important for this. So in Shortcuts there is a performance screen, and in here there is an attendance clock on and clock off. So you can have the clocking on and clocking off facility if you wish. You can also then view you can view your count or your points or your pounds. So you have a view mode, which means that you can change between what they're looking at. And then down the bottom, you've got your employee services breakdown, which is the main bit. So you can have a look, and the employees should be able to see what they've done today, what they've done this week, and what they've done this month. And it's always based on the calendar month. They should also then be able to see the employee dollars breakdown at the bottom, which is our monetary value. And again, they should be able to see this today, the week, and the month. So employee service breakdown breaks it down into the different areas that we have for the business. This pulls through from the report categories that are ticked against your services. It will show you exactly how many of each service they have done, and then underneath it will show how many services they've done overall, how many clients have rebooked, any retail, and then it will give a monetary value for their service and a monetary value for their retail. So currently this is set to count. If I was to change this to dollars or pounds, then what this would show is the top section, the employee services breakdown, would then show in a monetary value. So today, the week, and the month would then give them a breakdown on how much they've done in cuts, how much they've done in colours, how much they've done in style. You also get the option in the top corner to be able to do all prices are ex-VAT or INC-VAT. So if your employees are used to looking at their figures inclusive of VAT, then they can click on where it says ex-VAT, which it does as standard, and then click on that. It will change it automatically to inclusive of VAT. So that's the performance screen for your employees to be keeping a track of how they're doing with their performance overall. So now we're going to have a nosy at some of the reports. So the reports that we would recommend for your employee performance. So we'll have a look at the business employee performance, the performance summary, the ranking, and the performance summary extended report. So these are the 4 reports we'd recommend when you want to look at how your employees are doing and how they're performing overall. So the first one we're going to have a look at is our business employee performance. Now this one as standard is usually inactive. So if you go into your report screen, you'll see that there is a little inactive tick at the bottom. If you tick that, and then you'll be able to make the report active if you wish to use this. So the business employee performance report will show is be able to drill down by employee. So I'm looking at one employee for Nick Smith, and it shows my service sales. So it splits my service sales into non-technical or stylist services, such as my cuts and my blow dries. It will then break down into my technical or chemical services. And then so it's breaking down in both of those areas. It will then show me my retail sales, and then it will show me my total sales of all those areas overall. It will then give me a breakdown further down of the percentage service of total. So it's looking at the total sales and it's telling me what percentage of that total sales was made up of services, what percentage of that total sales was made up of retail. It will then give me a percentage of retail of service, which is where a retail bill has been added to a service bill. And then it will also give me the percentage of chemical on service. So that's where a chemical service has been done, as well as there being a cut, a style, or blow dry, for example. It will then give me some performance statistics. So it breaks it down with the hour, the day, the week, and the month. And it will show total time worked. It will show an average service sales, and it will show an average retail sales, again, per hour, per day, per week, and per month. And then it will give me some booking statistics, their availability and what they've booked, blocked out, their booking percentage and their block percentage. And then right down the bottom, it will then give me some tags. So it's giving me a little bit of information about what NIC's clients are made up of. So I've got some requests, some salon clients, and some not applicables. So that's our business employee performance. And as I said, that's usually inactive within Shortcuts, but you can drag it back if you wish to. Our main report for employee performance is the performance summary, and I'm sure a few of you are familiar with this report. This report looks at each employee over a particular date range, and it breaks it down into the number of clients. It breaks it down into the service by report categories. So again, those are the report categories that are ticked within your service setup. And it's really important that those ticks are placed and there's only one tick per service. Otherwise, this report will be slightly out and the information will not be correct. And you'll see that when it gives us the report categories, it gives us a count, which is the number of services, and then it gives us an amount as well, a monetary amount. We then have the retail total. And again, this is in units. It also gives us points, and then it will give us a pound amount as well. We then have a sundry total. So a sundry would be a gift certificate, for example. It then gives us a service total, which is points and amount. So the points within Shortcuts against each service, you're able to allocate points if you wish. So in each service, there's an area for you to be able to allocate a point if you wanted to do a tally on 1 point being, so one service, a blow dryer or cut being 1 point, but then a higher value service being a higher point. So you can track and do rewards based on points. It will then give you an overall total, again with points and value. And then it will give you an average client spend, any gift certificate totals, and then it will also show any series totals, which are courses of treatments. Down the bottom, so as it says, it gives it for each employee, and down the bottom you then have averages for the business, totals for the business, and total amount, which gives you a good idea where the business is going versus where each employee is going. So a couple of good things to look out for here is the number of clients. So the number of clients serviced, and then also looking at the number of services completed. So where the number of clients, that's one client per transaction, but the services can be multiple services per transaction. So what we're looking at is where we've got clients, but then we've got where we've got clients and then where we've got more services have been done. So therefore your employees are doing far more services than they are doing their clients. The next report we're going to have a look at is our performance summary extended. So this takes our performance summary to the next level. And this report shows your service. So it shows your service and retail. So it shows service, hours worked, productivity. It shows service clients, and it gives you a breakdown on your services overall with rebookings. It then shows retail clients, retail totals and average tickets. And then it looks at service plus retail, and then it looks at conversion. So with the service and retail, you can see that we've got the retail to service percentage conversion, which is where I've had retail added to a bill. And then the conversion is the retail conversion, where I've sold retail conversion average ticket. And then I've got the retail only, which is retail only, where I've only sold retail to a client. And then I have my totals. So very similar to the performance summary in that respect. It then breaks my service categories down, again, similar to the performance summary. And then I have my tags. So my top 5 tags. So if I've got 10 or a few more than 5 tags on the appointment book, it will show the top 5 tags for those employees. It gives you a list for each employee, and then it will give you a business total as well. So the business total will give you a breakdown for your salon. And the final one for our performance would be our employee ranking report. This is one of my favourites and shows your top 10 employees. So the top 10 employees are services, based on services, products, and then the total. So that looks at your top 10 employees for the service monetary, product monetary, and then the total overall. Then it breaks it down service pounds by hour, product pound by hour, and the number of guests. So I'd usually recommend using the service by hour and the product by hour when you've got stylists that are part-time. So it makes it fair that if you've got part-time staff and you've got full-time staff, you're able to then make sure that the ranking is correct, because somebody that is part-time might not be able to achieve the service pounds at the top, but they should be able to achieve the service pounds by hour. The guests is the number of clients. The average service ticket, average product ticket, and then average ticket overall gives you a rough idea of what kinds of price we're looking at. So what we would usually suggest is that you're looking at the average cost. So for example, the cost of your average service, which would be for hair a cut and blow dry. We would then hope that this average service ticket is higher than a cut and blow dry, which means that your staff are upselling, they're adding on extra services. The average product ticket, again, look at your most popular product and then make sure that this is above. So hopefully your staff are selling products on every bill. And then your average ticket overall will give you a rough idea of where you're at. So are your staff upselling extra services and extra retail on top? So now we're going to take a look at our productivity. So how to measure our productivity, what you should be looking for. So we have a few reports. For anybody using the appointment book, we would look at the appointment schedule analysis and then the value of future appointments. If we have anybody using our walk-in manager, then we would look at the employee efficiency and the employee service efficiency. And then for all clients, we would also recommend the average ticket and service sales per hour from the trade-in summary. So the first one is for our appointments. So we have an appointment schedule analysis, and this looks at scheduled time. So this looks at each employee, and it looks at their scheduled time. So what you've put down in their schedule as their working hours, and then it looks at their book time. So as you can see on our graph for Amy, the book time is in blue and the scheduled time is in red. So it gives us a rough idea of how much time is blocked out and where we need to improve. So where she's got some time that she needs to up a game a little bit. As you can see, the graph is over a time period and you can select that time period. And then there's a listed by date. So you can also get a list by date, and that shows times booked, times scheduled or rostered, and then that shows the percentage of efficiency. So it's well worth looking at this to make sure that you're getting the most out of your staff. So as you can see, Amy's been about 70% efficient, but hopefully we can do a little bit more to improve that. Our next employee-based appointment-based report would be the value of future appointments. So for this one, we would look at the employee. So we can look at the percentage of appointments that are booked with them over that period. So we've selected the 1st of March to the 31st of March for this report, and we're looking at all future appointments over that period. It shows you each employee, the percentage of their appointments, and then the total value of booked appointments. You can also see that we've got a graph, and that shows you the value of appointments booked per stylist. So at a glance, you can see who's doing well and who's not doing so well. Now, if you select a specific employee from the sidebar and double click the date, it will then give you a detailed list for future appointments as well. So this is a great report to be able to see who's got a lot of future appointments booked in and who's not doing so well. The next report is our employee efficiency. So this is for anybody that uses the walk-in manager service within Shortcuts. And this breaks down your number of visits, average visit time, number of services, your average service time, in-service and downtime, working time, and then it looks at the efficiency overall. So it gives us a rough idea of how many visits or how many clients they've seen. It gives us an average visit time of how long they're spending servicing those clients, the number of services that have been done during that period, and then an average service time. It also looks at how long I've been in service, so how long I've been servicing clients, the downtime, so time not worked, my working hours, and then it looks at my efficiency overall. Our other walk-in manager report is the employee service efficiency. So this looks at the average service block time comparisons in minutes for the employee. So this shows each employee and it gives a breakdown of the services and then shows in minutes how long it's taken each person to do those services. You'll see that it's separated by service categories and by services. So back to the trading summary. So as I said, for all clients, regardless of if you're using the appointments or if you're using walk-in manager, the trading summary employee performance. This is usually found at the bottom of the the trading summary, and it gives you a breakdown of each employee, the products, services, sundry, and total. It gives you a percentage total of how much they've taken overall, an average ticket, the number of tickets, the employee time, which is how long they've been scheduled or clocked in, and then the service sales by hour. So that's the employee statistics at the bottom of the trading summary report. You can also, when you're opening the trading summary, if you hit next on the report, you'll see that you get options to add more detail and filters to your report. So the trading summary, you can add in a service breakdown by employee and a product breakdown by employee, which give you a breakdown. So by each employee, it will then give you the number of services and then a breakdown of those services, and then a number of products and then a breakdown of those products sold. So it will show each product sold and how many of each product were sold. So it gives you a rough idea of what they're selling well and what they're not selling as well. So how do I know how well my staff? I know how well my staff are performing, but really I want to check on how well they're servicing the clients, how often are the clients coming back, and making sure that we're keeping the clients as well. So the client retention report really does work well when it comes to employee performance, making sure that not only are they servicing the clients, they're also getting the clients to come back in, and they're coming back in with themselves or they're coming back with somebody else, i.e. they're staying within the salon. So the client retention report. So with the client retention report, the way that this report works is to go back 90 days. So usually what we would suggest is the date range that you select is the period that you wanted the clients to come back in. And then the time period that you leave would be the time that the clients have come back in. So usually what I would suggest is you look at this over a 6-month period, and the date range that you select is the first 3 months of that 6-month period, and then you leave shortcuts the last 3 months to search to see if the client has been back in. You'll see that it breaks down each employee and it gives the total clients that they serviced in that period. How many clients returned with the same employee, how many clients returned with another employee, so how many we retained as a salon, and then it also gives us a list of a number of all the lost clients. Now, bearing in mind that if you do it over a 6-month period, it could be that you maybe need to do it over a longer period. Your clients might not be coming back every 8 to 12 weeks. So you might want to do it for a longer period and then see what your lost clients are then as well. So as I said, this report's really useful for being able to identify where people are servicing clients, but they're not having any return back with them. They're either returning to somebody else or we're losing them. With all of our reports, you can drill through. So if you click on the lost clients, for example, if you double click, it will then give you a list of all the lost clients for that employee as well. So one of the important things that we need to do is we need to be tracking our rebookings. So we need to be tracking how are our staff actually rebooking our clients in. So what we need to do first is we need to ensure that rebookings is actually switched on. So to set up your rebooking options, it's located under configuration and point of sale, and there's an ask to rebook tick. Also under configuration, there's an appointment book rebookings prompt to assign employee credit. So the employee credit is what actually gets the credit on the reports, which then shows you who's been rebooking their clients. So here we've got a brief example of how to apply rebooking credit. So giving credit from point of sale. So from the point of sale and shortcuts will prompt the user to ask the client to rebook. Click Rebook, schedule a future appointment, and when prompted with, is this a rebooking, would you like to give an employee credit? Click Yes, and then select the employee. It will ask you if you want to give the next employee credit, just in case two people have recommended that she rebooks and you wanted to give them both credit. From the appointment book, you can also set rebookings by right-clicking on an appointment, go to Extra, and then go to Set Rebookings, and then choose your employee. So once you've got this working, then this all feeds through to our rebooking breakdown report. So a rebooking breakdown report will give us the employees, the number of visits they've had from clients, the number of rebookings, and then a rebooking percentage. So a great tool to be able to see exactly who is rebooking those clients back in and who isn't. You should now be able to use the performance screen, run the employee performance reports, understand the employee performance extended report, and understand how to measure productivity, client retention, and know how to measure rebookings and also how to use the rebooking option. So as I said, if you wish to contact us, you can do. Otherwise, we'll speak to you on the next one. Thank you.